How can we help future generations preserving our tradition? How to be the highlight of the fishing industry in Portugal? How to stand up for the values that consecrated the codfish into the Portuguese gastronomy? Ensuring standards of precision, competency and high quality in a sequence of biomimetic processes with the purpose of taking care of all our products so they can mirror the traditional taste of the Portuguese gastronomy. The high quality of our products is guaranteed by some prerequisites. Being the only ones in the universe of the codfish certificated by the MSC, Marine Stewardship Council, and IFS, International Featured Standards in Norway, Portugal, Brazil, and the United States of America. On the top of the worldwide podium in what concerns the fish consumers, there are the Icelanders and the Japanese. They are followed by the Portuguese, with an annual average of 57 kilos per person, more than the double of the European average. This is an impressive figure that certifies a food culture and the health benefits where the codfish, currently one of the few wild fishes on sale in the market, stands out and is boosted by a good olive oil. In Portugal, our customers are present in every distribution channel. In the traditional trade, in the best restaurants and hotels, as well as in the modern distribution. We supply the best product, ensuring the authenticity and the traditional taste of the Portuguese codfish, dry salted and desalted, deep frozen, ready to cook. When you talk about quality codfish, it's mandatory to recognize Rui Costa e Sousa e Irmão as one of the greatest transformers and suppliers of dried, salted and desalted deep frozen codfish of the world. Since it was set up in November 1981, founded on family values, it has been going beyond itself thanks to an entrepreneurial vision and has been following a strategy of solid and progressive expansion. Rui Costa e Sousa e Irmão, that employs 500 workers distributed across Portugal, Norway, Brazil and in the United States of America, is formed by 6 big companies. In Portugal, Rui Costa e Sousa e Irmão S.A. and Bridgefaz e Irmãos S.A. In Norway, Andenes Fiskemattak A.S. and Andoia Fisheries A.S. In Brazil, Brascod. In the United States of America, USA Cod. We can rely on 3 industrial units of codfish in Portugal. In Tondela, where the group is based, and where we have redesigned the production unit in terms of structure, enhancing and adapting the quality of food safety routes. In Gafanha de Nazaré, a unit that incorporates the company Bridgefaz e Irmãos S.A. and the frozen goods factory, Senhor Bacalhau, opened in May 2007, that uses the newest technology. Built from scratch, it was a medium long-term bet. This investment, that rounded to 20 million euros, granted a processing capacity of 6,250 tons per year. In this new sector, the premium brand Senhor Bacalhau emerged. distinguished by its quality and refinement. In January of 2014, the expansion works of the soaking unit were over, which allowed to increase its capacity. This group owns several brands, being the following the most known: Signor Bacalhau, Bom Porto, Brites and Alavario. A customer portfolio spread over more than 30 countries worldwide. As important as the new infrastructures and the highly advanced technological equipments is the knowledge acquired throughout generations. On that threshold, we can find the company Brites Vaz and Irmãos, the oldest codfish drying factory operating in Portugal, founded in 1929. Following the evolution of the group, we initiated the internationalization process, betting at a long term on the Brazilian market with the opening of the company Brascod, founded in 2002. Nowadays, it embraces commercial and cold stores in Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro and Recife. Rui Costa Souza e Irmão S.A. is the greatest exporter to the Brazilian market. In Brazil, codfish is Bom Porto, the brand logo that tags the products in the Southern and Northern American markets, as well as in other markets for whom we export. For 16 years now, we are present in the main supermarket chains and in the best restaurants, having 150 sellers and 10,000 customers from north to south of Brazil. To attract new consumers in exporting markets, providing the codfish is not enough, it is also necessary to promote its preparation. For that, we developed differentiated products, mainly the desalted, deep frozen and ready-to-cook codfish. We innovated in terms of offer in relatively small amounts, with new cuts and sophisticated appearance, incentivizing the customer to have its first gastronomic experience. Throughout various actions, we promote and monitor the product at its point of sale, markets and gastronomic events, distributing and disclosing recipes, praising the codfish qualities, and informing that it is 100% natural food, an increasingly rare feature in other fish species, mainly of aquaculture. In Boston, one of the greatest markets of the world, where countless sea products are presented, our codfish is increasingly asserting itself. The Bom Porto codfish is inevitably the star of our stand. In order to operationalize our quality route and anticipate the market changes in terms of where the raw material comes from, mainly in Norway, we engaged on a pioneering strategy of verticalization of the codfish sector. In the island of Andøya, Andenes is the most northern town. Located at 300 kilometers north of the Arctic Polar Circle, there are around 3,700 people. In a landscape that is as beautiful as it is wild, fishing is one of the main activities. And it was in that land, painted of white almost the whole year, that we purchased a station focused on receiving the fish, the Andenes Fiskemottag AS, and we invested in the construction of the scaling and salting unit, Andøya Fisheries AS. We purchased the fish directly from the fishermen, and in steady quantities, attained at the best price. We appreciate everything that the codfish has to give us: meat, faces, tongues, cheeks, fish eggs, livers, and guts. After receiving the codfish, the scaling is initiated, retrieving the entrails and washing the fish carefully. After that, the codfish is salted, offering it a special taste. Subsequently in Portugal, the drying and soaking will take place. We control therefore the whole process of its transformation until it reaches the consumer. That's the secret of the high quality, as it was treated in our ancestors' salting vessels, where the codfish was kept in salt for at least 5 months in order to mature. Our factories in Norway, adjacent to one another, allow it to optimize the production flow, minimize costs, and make the best of the freshness of the raw material. Senor Bacalhau is the only codfish in the market that comes exclusively from fresh, selected fish, maturing right after being caught, through an optimized salting method, offering it a higher and unique quality. To maximize the increasing costs of the Norwegian factories, the group makes the best out of the products that come from the sea. Sells fresh codfish in small amounts and salts the bigger ones. The salted codfish forces us to buy for stock, and its value can fluctuate according to the market trends. What impacts on the business? We establish strategic partnerships that allow us to do a capillary distribution all over Europe and in the United States of America as well. Upon the codfish arrival in Portugal, fresh, salted or frozen, the several phases of its transformation start taking place. It's controlled upon reception and stored in refrigeration chambers, where it stays until production phase. It's calibrated according to specific work instructions for each reference. It can be prepared as white wing or black wing with or without the peritoneum. The fish is then placed in pallets and stored in layers of a regular shape. The stowage in boards and the drying phases are next. The dehydration using forced air is initiated and the speed and temperature are monitored. The drying phase can last up to until 36 to 100 hours, according to the size and thickness of the codfish. Afterwards, the cut is done using specific equipment, adjusting the blades and the lasers according to the reference of the product that will result from that action. After this, the operator puts the fish into the cold water tanks using a remote control. The quality of the water is monitored by computer, being automatically renewed according to its necessities. The freezing is done in high-powered tunnels, static and dynamic, where the temperature is lowered at the heating hub to minus 20 degrees Celsius in less than 6 hours. The glazing is done in isothermal basins, identified by radio frequency, computerizing the data, allowing the management in real time of the stocks that are in the negative freezing chamber. Afterwards, the codfish is forwarded by treadmills to the packing machines through dynamic high-technology graders, automatically building sales units whose weight is assessed by controllers that are, at the same time, metal detectors. After the storage of the final product, its distribution and marketing take place. The success of Rui Costa e Souza e Irmão SA is embedded in the food quality and safety, where the whole process of transformation of the codfish is assembled, obviously without forgetting the industrial demands. The skill is in merging the industrial efficiency with the food safety and, in the case of the desalted deep frozen codfish, keep the traditional characteristics of the codfish. That is what the consumer or cod lover got used to in the past and that today, in a more modern and functional way, has to be implemented in the market. No codfish under the Senhor Bacalhau brand enters the market without counting at least 90 days of salting, and without the absolute guarantee of being a fish of sustainable source, certificated by the MSC that identifies the products coming from the certificated fishing. The bet made on the desalted deep frozen codfish was imperative when conquering new markets, without habits of consuming and preparing the dried salted codfish. We are the only ones established in Norway, Brazil, and the United States of America with our own companies. Our codfish is for a long time now a safe bet in the so-called nostalgic market. And its affirmation is even bigger in countries highly connected with the sea, as the United States of America, but where only the Portuguese had the habit to consume it in the past. Today, the demand for the Portuguese codfish is increasingly higher in the shopping areas. In the communities where the Portuguese and Luso descendants' presence is big, new proposals for presentation and preservation have been promoted, as well as recipe ideas for this unique and totally natural food, a true trademark of our gastronomy. The storekeepers and distributors in the highest concentration areas of Portuguese communities also have a crucial role in this capillary net at a global scale, taking the Portuguese codfish to countless places. Our bet in terms of quality had paid off. We guarantee the control of the whole circuit of the codfish until it gets into the consumer's dish, answering increasing trend of the distribution chains in Portugal of supplying at the source. Rui Costa e Souza e Irmão S.A. is the only Portuguese company following this option, therefore offering the high quality of Senhor Bacalhau at a fair price for the final consumer. Senhor Bacalhau, a gentleman at your table.